Hello and welcome to Blueprints Behind Business. I'm your host, Brad Douglas, and today we have the pleasure of having Michael Meier on with us with Mighty Dog Roofing of Naples. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Brad, and thanks for having me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Really appreciate you making the time. I'm sure everyone's going to love to hear your story and a little bit more. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and more about Mighty Dog Roofing?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So most likely, as you can hear, I'm not a native American. So I moved here full time 2 years ago to Florida, Naples, originally from Switzerland. And so my background is I was in the finance world for like 25 years. Was traveling around the globe. Yeah, I was in Singapore. I worked in London, Zurich. I did work in New York, but that was all in the finance world. And that at one point I'm like, okay, I think I've seen that, and I want to start my own business and try a new route. And so that's when I left the finance industry, and that's like in 2018, so like 6 years ago. And I started a company first in Switzerland. That was a real estate property management and also a real estate broker. And I did that with my cousin. And but after a while, we did find out that our goals or targets or visions were not quite the same. And I decided to leave that company and yeah, really start my own company. And I always loved Naples, Florida.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm coming to Naples since 1997. Before that, on a vacation basis, and that was always my end goal to live in Florida at one point full time. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do that step. I moved to back to the US after having worked in New York for a few years, full time to Naples, and that's when it all started with like yeah, doing my research. What can I do? What businesses are around? And also in order to have a visa that would allow me to live in the United States full time, I needed to have a business. And that's how it started, everything here in the US. Um, I work together with a company who is specializing in E2 visas. And we talked about all the possible investments I can make here in order to get the D2 visa. So yeah, after a process, we narrowed it down to a couple businesses, and that was my first business then that I opened or started. It's a franchise business over in Miami South Beach. It's a dog boarding daycare business, and thanks or due to the investment in that business, I was able to get that E2 visa, which allowed me to move to the US full time. And as I say, so that all the business is in Miami, and I'm like, and it's yeah, I have a management in place, everything. So it was literally like, okay, I did invest, then I wanted to oversee the build out everything of the location, but then COVID hit, so I couldn't even travel to the US, and so it was all remote. And but I was lucky to have a good management in place who took care of it. And long story short, I'm like, okay, that business runs pretty smoothly without me being there on a daily basis. But I didn't want to like just sit around and do nothing. So I'm like, okay, once I'm in the US, I'm planning to open another business and be involved more in the daily business than I am with that pet business over in Miami. So what I did is, again, I was contacted by a franchise broker, and we looked at the profile. What do I want, etc. Where do I see myself? What would be a good fit? We narrowed it down, and I thought, funny enough, roofing looks interesting to me, and that's how I got started with my Mighty Dog Roofing company here in Naples, also a franchise business, as I mentioned. And yeah, we are up and running now for about 13 months. I think we have a small team. I have 2 employees, and for the most of us, it was quite a learning curve. Me coming from the finance world, my sales guy, he was in commodity trading. I know him like since 20 years, and he moved to Naples, so I hired him in sales. So we were completely new to roofing. Was quite a learning curve, and now we hired a production manager who is from roofing business, because yeah, it turned out to be very helpful having someone with roofing knowledge in the business. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, an exciting background. Welcome to Southwest Florida. Like you said, it's a beautiful place to be, obviously.
Absolutely.
Well, so you stay away from the storms. But yeah, no, fantastic. Having that finance background and experience you have, I'm sure it gives you a lot of good, core basis to your business, and um, having that entrepreneurial kind of spirit there, and starting multiple businesses. So congratulations, and thanks. So really, if you think about what are some of the misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them especially now that you're in something a little bit newer than what maybe your past experience has been in?
I think one of the misconception is like, or I hear that a lot from people, is like, oh, okay, I want to be my own boss, and I won't have people work for me, and like having time for family, pets, or whatever recreational activities and things like that. And I'm also a big fan. In Switzerland or in Europe, we have those TV shows about people who are moving to other countries, like they want to open a new business, start a new life. And everyone, or not everyone, but let's say like 70% of those people, and I think it's like those people who start businesses for whatever reason, they think like, okay, that's nice, so I can sleep in the morning, and at 3 p.m. I go play a golf, and all these kind of, yeah, I think misconceptions, let's put it this way. I think what you have to be aware, if you start a business from scratch, yeah, you have to be around, and I wouldn't say like 24/7, but be prepared, like at least 12 hours a day. You have to be around, unless you have a general manager or something like that you trust 100%, and he's doing a good job for you. But I think that's a very big misconception. Oh, okay, now I don't have a 8 to 5 job anymore. Now I can go out there, enjoy life. I think that's definitely not the case. Yeah.
Great
And
insight there. And yeah, the kind of 9 to 5, or as some would call it, think they're going to walk away, and that'll be different in their new business, but not always the case. It takes a lot, especially in the beginning, for sure.
yes.
So, really thinking about, from a roofing standpoint, any kind of businesses that you have, there can be some constant change. There's always evolving landscapes and business and new technologies, things like that. How do you stay innovative and kind of ahead of the curve, I guess?
Um, well, let's put it this way. I think with the setup I'm in, with like being a part of a franchise business, I think that helps, or is additional support, because they looking into this on a daily basis, and we get like all website supports and things like that. But from like what I can do, or like whoever starts a new business or is in business, I think, yeah, it's just stay up to date, meaning like reading all those news you can get about whatever business you're in. Talk to competition, um, and also talk to other businesses here around you, and drive around, see what they are doing. So I think it has to be, yeah, you have to be open, like go out there, see what others do. Don't be afraid to talk to others. And I think something that helps a lot, and I unfortunately experience a lot, is like talking to the competition. But a lot of people are afraid. I'm like, oh, if I talk to this guy and he's my competition, that's not good for my business. And I think it's the other way around. If you talk to each other and you can have an open discussion and share your experience, hey, what did help me? Or listen, we tried this, it didn't work at all. So yeah. And I think that's for every business. Stay connected, networking. And I think that's how you can keep up or up to date. And yeah, just stay informed, reading. Knowledge
Yeah,
is
the networking piece is huge, right? It's
yeah.
being able to have those relationships and support. The community that's what's fantastic about the community. Everybody really wants to win. We all want to have something as well. And more I find more people will support you and help you than the other. So it's great to know that we have a community like that. Can you give us a little bit of a future glimpse potentially into your future? I know that you've had a business in Miami. You've got your roofing company now here in the Naples area. It's been 13 or so months, but you know, can you share a little bit about what you're thinking in the coming years and goals for your next journey?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously grow. That's my first goal. And yeah, I mean, I come back to that what we just discussed is networking, talk to people, I think, I did underestimate it a little bit, because I was new to Naples, my sales guy was new to Naples. So we really started from scratch building a network, and we didn't have like friends or families, and um so yeah, that's my goal. So for the coming year is like build out or grow my network or our network, really establishing ourselves here in the community, to be recognized as a company that is not only looking for jobs here in the community, but as well like giving back, supporting like dog shelters or veterans and things like that. So that's definitely my goal. So become like a part of the community, not only like taking, also giving. And I think yeah, if we get to that level where we can do that, and also being recognized, I mean, I don't take it for granted that we get more jobs or will be successful, but I think that's a very big part of being successful. Like be local, support your community, because it's a two-way street. So give and take, yeah. And yeah, that's what my future looks like. Besides, yeah, trying or yeah, want to grow the business, yeah. But I think
Fantastic.
that's very important, yeah.
Very important. Very noble cause and supporting the community and even veterans, as you mentioned. Fantastic. Really appreciate that. So if you had someone else that you were talking to, say through your networking or maybe even a family member, someone getting started and wanting to become an entrepreneur or potentially start their own business, what do you really would you tell them about some of the challenges you face and maybe just some guidance, I guess you could say, in getting started first time?
Yeah, I mean, guidance number one, maybe that's a little bit a special one, or I could imagine a lot of people that listen to your podcasts or videos are not in that situation. I'm more focusing on people like me who are non-US citizens. It's like the finance part. So as a non-US citizen, it's very difficult to get financed in the US the first 2 years. So your business has to be open and running for 2 years until banks even consider like, oh, okay, so you want the line of credit or whatever, let's talk. So that's one thing. And then in general, it also is regarding the finances. I think, or I don't know if people are aware, starting a new business, it needs time until you make money. Let's put it this way. So not only do it's not only like, okay, now whatever business I start, I have to invest 50,000 or 100,000, whatever, and here I am, and now I'm making money. That's not the case. So I have like 3 businesses within 5 years that I started, and some of them were break even after year 1, but the other one was break even. So after year 2, so what I want to say is like, you need to have like a safety net, meaning like some money aside where you are like, okay, that's what I'm gonna invest. I start today until you really can take out a salary or live off the business. Expect like, as I would say, at least 2 to 3 years. Let's put it this way. Yeah. So, and I think that's one of the main advices. And then also something like, it's like all the rules and regulations. That's something I didn't know here in the US. Like, really, is like from state to state is different. Sometimes even from county to county is different.
Sure.
And you think it's like small things, but all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And you have to learn it the hard way. So yeah, get to know the business, etc., with the rules and regulations. Can save you a lot of headaches talking about experience. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're here to solve it, and we were able to solve it, but yeah, saves you a lot of time, sometimes as money as well. So that's the other thing. And what's very important as well, I did find out, is like finding the right people to work with. You know, people you can trust. So again, it goes back to the network. If you're Floridian and you live here and you have a family, friends network, that definitely makes life easier to find the right people for the right person in the right seat. Let's put it this way. So I mean, long story short, yeah, don't underestimate the finances, the capital that's needed. Don't underestimate the time you will need to build the business until it's like really you can say, okay, I can live out of it. And yeah, the human power, yeah, brain power, work power, very, very important, yeah. Or these were like my main hurdles, if you want to
Sure.
describe it that way, yeah.
Yeah, no, great points. Really looking at the community, looking at other professionals, and what they do as well. Going to those people for that help, because to your point, making sure that you have the finances to keep it going, but also just that you're following, certain regulations, laws, everything else, so that those don't come to catch you in the future potentially. So very, very good
Exactly.
advice for
Yeah.
sure. Well, Michael, I really thank you so much for your time. And everyone that's out there watching, thanks for joining, and please look forward to our next episode. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Brett.